Peoples History of the United States. I'm actually excited about this course because we have a wonderful textbook by Dunbar-Ortiz, and she is a high-level scholar. She's an indigenous scholar, and that's why this book is accepted academically, because she's at a level that is basically unquestioned, although certainly in any textbook or academic writing, people can question those kinds of things. But in this book that she's written, it's written from indigenous people's perspective, Native Americans, if you will, and that's what we like. And what does that mean, an indigenous perspective? What it means is that Dunbar's approach is she presents the material from the point of the important experiences of an indigenous people in the United States, or of indigenous peoples of the United States. Now, this is different than Western history that's presented from a linear point of view. In other words, from time beginning in a certain time period in our calendar, and that up until present times. And the reason she does this from the point of view of experiences of indigenous people is that really fits with indigenous ways of knowing, because indigenous knowledge is based on experiencing the world, observation through eons of time. And so that's why this course really fits well. And I like the way the book starts out. In the first chapter, it's entitled Follow the Corn, which really starts history from how corn evolved from Mesoamerica and worked its way all the way up into North America and what is known as United States. So right away we're seeing that history of indigenous people didn't start when the colonists came here, and so that's significant, and so this first chapter is an example of that. The other thing about indigenous history, especially in this beginning, it's going to present information how indigenous people were already here. It wasn't terra nullius, which really means land wasn't empty when the colonizers came here. In fact, we will find that, hey, there were towns, there were cities, there were roads, there were commerce, and some of these things that we find, like in anthropology and other archaeology, the kinds of things such as how did we get macaw feathers up in the Mississippi Valley? What are those mounds that have been there? We now know that indigenous people had trade networks, had commerce networks. They did interact with each other, and so that's a little bit about the